Good day everyone, especially to you Ma'am Maria. We are the Group 6 from BSHM-1A. Please allow me to introduce my co-members. They are Annalyn Donaire, Jelome Asuncion, Rizal Casona, Carl Christian Estrella, and yours truly, Merame Dada Gonzalez. So our assigned topic is all about the Chapter 4 of Supply Chain Management. Contract Logistics, K-Block in Supply Chain Management. So here is a quote from Dwight D. Eisenhower. You will find it difficult to prove that battles, campaigns, and even wars have been won or lost primarily because of logistics. So it means nga dili kuno ka malisuran nga i-prove nga ang mga laban or mga kampanya or mga challenges nga imo na encounter nga madagan or sa mapildi ana kuno kay tungod sa logistics. So captivate yourself or preparation for the topic. So supply chain activities constitute multimodal transportation, customs clearance, and warehousing activities in one or more locations in the entire network. So, ang supply chain activities kuno nag-constitute, which means nag-form of mga multimodal transportation. Multimodal transportation means that it is the use of several means of transport to convey goods to their final destinations, and also customs clearance. So customs clearance is a necessary procedure before goods can be imported or exported internationally. And then also warehousing activities in one or more locations in the entire network. So supply chain activities may be local, referring to within the country, or regional, meaning within a continent or region, and global, which is essentially intercontinental. So global operations are the order of the day as businesses follow markets and also look for cheaper conversion costs that are achieved by setting up manufacturing facilities in countries where costs are cheaper. Okay, so ang global operations kuno kay ang mga order sa kada adlaw ingadto sa mga merkado, then syempre mangita man ganag mga mas barato nga conversion sa presyo para ma-achieve pinaagi sa pag-set up og mga manufacturing facilities sa nasud kung ngain mas barato ang conversion sa presyo. So take the case of pharmaceutical industry. Okay, so what is pharmaceutical industry? So amo ni ang industry nga mag-discover, mag-develop, mag-produce o mag-market sa mga drugs or pharmaceutical drugs or mga medications sa mga public o private organizations para makapaazo sa mga pasyente. So high cost of manufacturing led the companies to shift manufacturing out of Europe and US to South Africa, India, and other cheaper nations. Okay, so ang taas nga presyo sa pag-manufacture kaya mo'y makapatod sa mga kampanya para ibalhin ang pag-manufacture gikan sa Europe ug US padung sa South Africa ug India ug uban pang mga cheap or mga barato nga mga nasud. While inbound supplies from these countries may be consolidated in each country by the freight forwarder and shipped out, they may also be shipped out by the supplier to a third-party warehouse in the destination country for VMI inventory replenishments. Okay, so ang mga musod ko na sa mga nasud kay ipunon sa mga nasud sa mga freight forwarder para ipada sa gawas. So ang freight forwarder amo ni ang mga tao nga mag-organize sa pag-transport sa mga goods padung sa ila destinasyon. So pwede lang ni sila ipada sa mga suppliers sa usa ka third-party warehouse ngadto sa ila destinasyon para mapun-an ang mga inventory sa VMI or vendor managed inventory. So inbound supplies may be running into thousands of part numbers and hundreds of shipments from a few hundred suppliers. So, ang mga musud ko nga mga supply, pwede ko na mo abot og thousands of part numbers or hundreds nga shipments or pagpadagikan sa pilalat kagatos nga mga supplier. So, finished goods, on the other hand, would be dispatched from the plant directly to a distribution center in the country or exported to another distribution center abroad. Okay, so ang mga nahuman nga mga produkto ipadagikan sa planta or direkta dazon ngadto sa mga distribution center sa usa ka nasod or i-export ngadto sa ibang nga distribution center sa abroad. So similarly, each country distribution center would receive finished goods from the local plant, imported finished goods from other distribution centers. So kada distribution center sa usa ka country makadawat nag mga nahuman na mga produkto gikan sa mga lokal nga planta. So they would also receive the bought out items that are procured for integration with finished goods at the distribution center. The distribution center manages the inventory, completes any in-house process or etc. Further movement of cargo happens from the mother distribution center to subsidiary or secondary warehouses from where they finally reach the distributor. So, ang mga distribution center, amo na ang mga nag-manage sa inventory, mag-complete sa mga bisanano nga mga in-house process o uban pa. Ang paglihok sa mga kargamento nahitabo gikan sa mother distribution center to subsidiary or secondary warehouses kung ngain moabot nila ang distributor. Okay, that will be all for the introduction or the preparation for this topic. Now let's move on to the first reporter, Annalyn Donaire. She will going to discuss in order for you to understand more for this particular topic.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I am Annalyn Donaire. Contract logistics, K-block in supply chain management. If you flip the above two supply chains, you will see that at any time, the highest amount of inventory is held at the warehouse that holds suppliers' parts and the distribution centers and subsidiary warehouse. So, kung imo nang giplano daan ang duha ka klase nga supply chain, imo na siya makita bisag kan sa the highest amount of inventory may makatabang sa warehouse to hold supplier and distribution centers ngadto sa warehouse. The amount of shipments in the pipeline would be very small compared to the inventory at the warehouses. Plants do not hold inventories at all. Therefore, warehouses are critical to supply chain networks. Warehouses are the main links in the supply chains, and their location and functioning in terms of operations affect the rest of the supply chain efficiency. Distribution centers, BMI centers, part centers, and various business models of warehousing activities are now outsourced to 3PL service providers. Many companies do manage this as critical function in-house, but the increasing trend is to outsource these activities. Our housing operations encompasses many values-added processes and critical operations. Based in my research, distribution center is a product storage and shipping building that stores goods a company, and the BMI centers or vendor managed inventory is an inventory management which a supplier of good, usually the manufacturer, is responsible for optimizing the inventory held by distributors. In the case of plant logistics, these activities involve the complete responsibility of managing inbound traffic management, yard management, and inbound shipment receiving, warehousing, and inventory management. In-house processes can include kitting, sub-assembly, and any other value-add processes to be managed before parts are supplied to the plant. Any wrong transaction or mistake in the transaction will affect the production line and result in an increase in downtime. Other responsibilities managed include scrap management, packing material management, and etc. In the case of automotive plants, these warehousing activities are very big and complex in size and worked as independent companies on 24/7 basis with senior management being present at the site to be managed the small company. Hypothetically, in typical small-size operations, a logistic facility could be receiving over 100 shipments a day, unloading around 50 to 60 containers a day, maintaining inventory anywhere between 20,000 to 35,000 SKU parts number, held in various moods in 8,000 to 10,000 racks locations and many more block stock to locations, outgoing supply to plant and happen on call basis every 2 hours, and supplies can consist of a few hundred parts kitted as per the bill of material. Plant logistics is talking about management, inbound traffic management, yard management, and inventory management. So, kung sayop ang transaction, mapiktuhan ang product line. So, resulta siya to increase in downtime. So, kung mo increase ang downtime, di have possible to lost productivity and lost opportunities along with long-term damage to the transaction. All this activity needs to happen continuously on a shift basis. Contract logistics companies have further extended their services into managing semi-manufacturing processes within the plant. Many multinational companies have invested into building contract logistic capabilities. The management structures consist of supply chain managers, engineers, and other technical staff required managing specific segments. Development of core competencies in managing warehousing, operation, and supply chain network was perfect in Europe and automotive, retail, and many others industries. In cases where the operation size and processes involved are more than just a warehouse, normally it is referred to a contract logistics. The business is driven by a contract manager at the site with administration support, staff, and operation teams. Such sites normally call for a lot or investment in infrastructures including material handling equipment, racking, building, etc. The size of operations and investment being large, the contract usually run for some years. The project involve integration and building an interface with IT application of both companies to facilitate day-to-day transactions.
Thank you, Ms. Annalyn. Now I will turn over you to Ms. May Asuncion for the topic Contract Logistics and Warehousing, Pricing and Costing Mechanism.
Contract logistics and warehousing, pricing and costing mechanisms. So logistics service providers are many in the market. There are players from multinational, regional, and local companies. So individually manage business organizations, pareha na warehouse, in-plant warehouses, etc. So depending upon the business requirement. So magdepende pud ni siya kung unsa nga business requirements ang imuhang kinahanglan. So in this section of the article, we propose to cover the pricing mechanisms aspect of a small warehouse, like consolidation center or finished goods flow through warehouses that need not be dictated to the buyer alone and can be shared facilities. So normally, the bigger operations involve inventory management, etc. So this considered standalone facilities, and costing is worked out for the entire project. And this part of discussion is not covered under the scope of this article. So normally, in this finished goods supply chain or raw materials supply chain, there would be a need for a warehouse facility at the en route to the plant or the markets. So this warehouse can be consolidation centers or merging centers. In this case, finished goods are brought in from various locations, merged, and dispatched to the next leg of the network. In case of raw material supplies, there can be a consolidation and center at a country level where all shipments from several buyers are consolidated and shipped out as a container load. Such kind of warehousing requirements may not call for dictated facilities. So normally, these service providers who manage the freight will have warehouses that are used as shared or common facilities. In a few cases, public warehouses are also used by the buyers as the case may be. General cargo warehouses or shared facilities and public warehouses are warehousing the house cargo of various clients. So depending upon the client's requirements, materials can be stored per day, week or month, etc. So inventory held of each customer may not be very high. Storage space. Storage and space options provided by the 3PL. In such cases, it can vary with the client's nature of the business. So it can, in a country consolidation center where multiple shipments are stored and consolidated, the buyer may contract a fixed space on a square foot basis with a specified number of locations. So pricing, fixed price in case where the buyer contracts a fixed space. The costing model will be based on a fixed fee per month, so including cost of space, infrastructures, etc. So even in a fixed fee models, there are many variations in pricing models. Pareha aning transaction-based pricing model. So wherever there is no fixed space allocation, the transactional pricing models are many. So some of the usual methods of pricing are per pallet or price per unit or kilogram volumetric weight or volume price per transaction.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Jelly May. Now let's move forward to Miss Rizal for the topic Contract Logistics Pricing Methods.
Good day everyone, I am Rizal Casona and my topic is all about contract logistics pricing methods. Warehousing and contract logistics forms an important part in supply chain networks. Contract logistics projects are of two kinds. The first contract logistic project being flowed through the warehouse that can be a finished good warehouse for the purpose of consolidation and merging or documentation purposes, or in the case of supplier shipments, inventory being consolidated to enable if-sale shipments. Often supply chain logistic calls for shipments and cargo to be warehoused at the point of origin or destination. In all such cases, warehousing facilities are normally public warehouse or shared, and common facilities offered by 3PL are used. So, kaning first contract logistic project being flowed through the warehouse wherein pwede siya mahimong finished good warehouse. Ang iya purpose ani is to consolidate the documents para easy na lang i-deliver ani adto sa supplier. Ang mga inventories pud ani niya kay gi-consolidate na siya daan para effective and masayon ang pag-deliver sa if-sale shipments. So, mostly sa mga supply chain logistic, kinahanglan siya mga cargo. Then, ang kaning mga cargo na store na ni siya daan kung asa ni siya gikan or asa ang iya destination ani. Ang warehousing nga ila gigamit kay mostly public warehouse or shared good. The second kind of contract logistic project involves larger projects that are client-specific and dedicated. Such warehousing project may be called for in supplier inventory management and supplies to the plant and manufacturing lines called in-plant logistic or model like GIT, BMI warehouse. In case of finished goods too, the distribution center, FG warehouse and hubs at regional or country level entails dedicated facility. So, ang kaning second contract logistic project, nag-involve na ni siyag mga larger project, which is mga specific client, mas siya nakafocus. Then, ang natural project of warehousing may be called to manage inventories of supply sa plant or manufacturing lines. Then, in terms pod of sa finished goods, ang mga distribution center sa FG warehouse and mga hubs kay need siya dedicated facilities para ma-ensure gid nato nga safe ang mga goods nga naa sa warehouse. Warehousing project are normally managed through the RFQ process where the qualified 3PL vendors buy for the business with a response document containing solution design, followed by presentations and negotiations with final selected 3PL suppliers. So, ang kaning warehousing project kay normally managed through the RFQ process. RFQ process is a standard business practice within the supplier chain in which a buyer requests of a supplier the price and availability of certain goods and service, wherein the qualified 3PL vendors for the business with the response documents containing solution design. Many companies prefer to suggest a pricing mechanism or models in the RFQ to enable them to compare the various bids as well as have clarity on the cost involved therein. Types of pricing models in contract logistics. Fee based on the percentage of sales turnover or volume. Cost plus models. Price per square feet. Transaction and fixed price combination. Cost for transaction or unit pricing. Fee based on percentage of sales turnover or volume. Traditionally, warehousing service providers who are called carrying and forwarding agencies involved mainly in finished goods logistics have practiced the pricing mechanism of charging warehousing fee as a percentage of sales bills per month. The fee can vary anywhere from 0.5 to 2% of the monthly gross sales turnover. This practice has been involved in the multi-year supply chain network involving distributors at state levels and further regional distributors and so on. So fee based on percentage of sales turnover or volume, na siya pricing mechanism nga and every month na sila charges warehousing fee nga ilasingon sa mga mahalin nga goods. Ang fee charges kay nagbari from 0 to 5.5 to 2% which is mauna ni ang monthly gross sales turnover niya. Pricing mechanism includes a basic minimum guarantee pricing called as floor price. Floor price or minimum price covers the fixed cost expenses of the warehouse. The revenue earned by the 3PL varies with the sales revenue. 3PL stands to gain during peak months and loss during slack months. The variable cost that has a major impact on the costing is labor. 3PL service providers manage this costing by employing minimum number of human resources and add on temporary labor only when required. While 3PL is aware of the market condition and sales estimation for the buyer's product, he stands to make a gain when sales shoot up. Buyer, on the other hand, would find it easier to account the cost as a standard percentage of the sales turnover without having to get into other operational details. Cost plus models. Large-size projects that are dedicated and set up as a per buyer's requirement are normally run based on cost plus models. As the name suggests, the pricing mechanism involves estimation the total cost of running operation and profit as a management fee, which is fixed as a percentage of the total cost. This costing method works well when the project size is huge and operation includes multiple transaction and value-added activities within the warehouse. A large-size warehousing project called for huge investments to create the building and Infrastructure. The building may have to be built or may be hired by paying the security deposit. Infrastructure investment would include racking or shelving system, materials handling equipment, including forklifts, reach trucks, dock traveler, etc., conveyor or any other equipment needed. Its infrastructure can include cost of hardware including desktop, laptop, printers, RF equipment, and etc. Given the size of the project and the investment involved, the contract or project is awarded for 3 years with 2 extensions of 1 year each. This helped the 3PL to amortize the investments over the contract period. You learned something in my discussion.
Thank you for that, Ms. Rizal. Now I will give you to Mr. Carl Christian Estrella for the topic Contract Logistics Cost Model.
Good morning everyone, my name is Carl Christian 1A Estrella. So I am going to report my assigned topic. So the topic is all about contract logistic cost model. So warehousing costing methods vary with the business models. While some warehouse using common shared facilities may be worked up based on the transaction cost, dedicated and standalone facilities would be on a different costing model. So in this section, we shall go through the cost elements of a warehouse project briefly. So warehouse cost elements are primarily divided into fixed cost, variable cost, and overheads. So first, what is cost elements? So cost element is the cost of a resource that is consumed by an activity. So usa siya ka elemento sa pamaagi sa paggasto sa ka resource that is nga gigamit sa usa ka dihang activity consumed by an activity. So warehouse cost elements are primarily divided into fixed cost, variable cost, and overhead. So what is fixed cost? Fixed costs are costs that do not change when sales or production volumes increase or decrease. This is because they are not directly associated with manufacturing a product or delivering a service. As a result, fixed costs are considered to be indirect cost. Second is variable cost. Variable costs are costs that change as the quantity of the good or service that a business produces changes. Variable costs are the sum of the marginal cost over all units produced. They can also be considered a normal cost. Third is overhead. In business, overhead or overhead expense refers to an ongoing expense of operating a business. So overheads are the expenditure which cannot be conveniently traced or identified with any particular revenue unit, unlike operating expenses such as raw material and labor. Number 1. Cost of land and building. This cost elements is included if the land and building are provided by the 3PL and not the buyer. So in case the land and building are acquired by the 3PL, the cost of land and building may be amortized over the life of the building, or as per industry standards average to 10 to 12 years, and proportionate monthly cost can be added. So one needs to ensure that the costs are realistic and nearer to market rates for rentals. So in case the land and building are rented by the 3PL, the cost of monthly rental along with the cost of funds for security deposit may be added to the cost. So all costs will be worked out for the term of contract period, with annual escalations considered annually. Number 2 is infrastructure cost. What is infrastructure cost? So infrastructure cost means cost incurred by a municipal corporation in a calendar year to acquire, construct, reconstruct, improve, plan, or equip real or tangible personal property that directly benefits or will directly benefit the exempted property. So that is the infrastructure cost. So the cost of acquisition of all infrastructure including the racks, MHA, charging equipment, dock levelers, and any other equipment including office equipment are itemized and amortized over the contract period or over the shelf life of the equipment as the case may be, to arrive at monthly cost of infrastructure. Number 3 is IT infrastructure. What is IT infrastructure? So IT infrastructure is defined as broadly as a set of information technology components that are the foundation of an IT service. Typically, physical components, but also various software and network components. So the importance of IT infrastructure is when properly networked or technology can be optimized to improve communication. So these are the importance of infrastructure. And it is also create efficiencies and increase productivity. So if an IT infrastructure is flexible, reliable, and secure, it can help an enterprise meet in goals and provide a competitive edge in the market. So as what I have said, that IT infrastructure or information technology are the components required to operate and manage enterprise IT environments. About the information, IT infrastructure can be deployed within a cloud computing system or within an organization's own facilities. So IT infrastructure consists of the cost of hardware and cost of software. So hardware covers all service. First is desktops, printers, laptops, RF equipment, and any other IT related hardware. Next is software application cost. Include cost of WMS based on one-time fee or individual number of user license, cost of other softwares including mailing system and any operations related softwares. IT costs are amortized over 2 or 3 years depending upon statutory audit guidelines. So that is the IT infrastructure. Number 4 is manpower. The term manpower means all expenses relating to its workforce. So this cost begin to arise once the company identifies a personnel need and shows up either in monetary form or in the form of work hours. So the manpower, detailed manpower costing will include the cost of management staff, operating staff, in-house operatives and outsourced operatives like laborers, MHA drivers, and etc. Outsourced security staff costs are also added under this item heading. So in case of in-house staff, detailed calculation based on the cost to the company is worked out including staff benefit, which is the insurance, bonus, training cost, uniform, and etc. along with the proposed incremental cost over the number of years as per contract period. Outsourced staff's costs are also tabulated for the contract period including the annual escalations. So let's proceed to the number 5. Number 5 is utilities and consumables. What is utilities and consumables? So utilities expense is the cost incurred by using utilities such as electricity, water, waste disposal, heating, and sewage. So the consumable is means the cost of food, beverages, preparation, catering, or entertainment furnished at an event. So utilities are not fixed cost; they are monthly variable cost. The items in this category are the cost towards office and communication and expenses, including the telephones, the internet, and etc. Stationery and consumables both for office and shop floor item like tapes, packing materials, and etc. and cost of electricity, water, fuel, and etc. So number 6 is administrative expenses. So this is the cost of the office support, cost of insurance, and third-party liabilities and travel cost, including any other statutory and deposits are covered here. So administrative expenses are administration expenses are the cost of paying wages and salaries and providing benefits to non-sales personnel. They are one of 3 kinds of expense that make up a company's operating expenses. The other are selling and general expenses. So let's proceed to the number 7, overheads. So this is the cost of management. Time is estimated and included here. Then alternatively, a percentage of corporate or regional office cost overhead is loaded. And cost of money or interest cost on working capital for 3 months can be included. So overhead refers to the ongoing cost to operate a business, but includes the direct cost associated with creating a product or service. Overhead cost can be fixed, variable, or a hybrid of both. And lastly, the number 8, profit management fee. So what is profit? Profit is an income distributed to the owner in a profitable market production process. Profit is a measure of profitability, which is the owner's major interest in the income formation process of market production. There are several profit measures in common use. The management fee can be added as a percentage of total cost or a fixed amount. So thank you so much. That is my assigned topic. Thank you.
Thank you for discussing that topic, Mr. Carl Christian. Now it's my turn, and I am going to discuss this topic, which is how automation benefits the logistics sector through efficiencies and synergies. Okay, so how automation benefits the logistics sector through efficiencies and synergies. Okay, so before anything else, what is automation? Okay, so automation is the creation and application of technologies to produce and deliver goods and services with minimal human intervention. So, automation benefits the logistics sectors in many ways. So, ang automation kay damo ko na yung maka-benefits ko na sa logistics sector sa damo nga paagi. Okay, so what is logistics sector? So, logistics sector is the science of obtaining, producing, and distributing materials and products to the correct place and in the correct quantities. So, ang logistics sector is ang pag-obtain, pag-produce, ug pag-distribute sa mga materials and products sa saktong nga lugar o sa saktong kung pila ka buok nga materials or products. So, right from order booking and package handling in warehouses. So, gunad ko sa pag-book o sa pag-handle sa mga packages sa warehouses. So, including transit and shipments that is enabled by automated modes. So, apel na ko na dira ang transit or ang shipments sa kuan that is enabled by automated modes. Automated, which means to operate automatically. So, ang tracking and delivering the materials, so ang pag-track ug ang pag-deliver sa mga materials. Then, automation can increase the efficiencies and synergies of the entire supply chain. So, ang automation kuno kay makapataas kuno na sa efficiencies o sa synergies sa tibuok supply chain. So, ang efficiencies kay it occurs when the most productivity is achieved while expending the least effort and expense. So, in other words, it produces something with a minimum amount of effort. So, the synergies is it happens when two or more agents collaborate to create an outcome that is greater than that combined efforts alone. So, efficiencies accrue as logistic providers can implement economies of a scale made possible by automation. For instance, by making robots move packages around the warehouse. So, possible kuno na pinaagi sa pagbuhat ng mga robots para mo-operate sa tibuok warehouses. So, more such packages can be handled since the robots, being automated machines, do not tire or need prolonged breaks. So, ang mga packages kuno kay mag-handle sana kay ang mga robot or mga automated machines, which means ang mga machines na operate automatically. So, do not tire or need prolonged breaks kay ang mga machines or ang robots kay dili man na sila kapuzon or pwede ra na sila dili mo pahuway or di na sila okay ra na sila nga dili mo pahuway kay di man sila kapuzon. In addition, by automating the shipment and transit. So, ang pag-operate kuno sa mga shipments o sa transit. So, logistics providers can use drones for delivery as well as self-driving trucks and vehicles that can be on the road for longer periods of time. So, before anything else, what is or who are the logistic providers? Okay, so logistics service providers or the third-party logistics or 3PL, amo ni ang kumpanya nga mag-offer og services para matabangan og pag-manage sa supply chain, apil na sa ang warehouse management, order fulfillment o shipping orders. So, ang logistics providers kay mogamit na sila mga drones for sa pag-deliver sa mga materials o sa product or as well as self-driving trucks and vehicles that can be on the road for longer periods of time. So, indeed, the leading online retailer, Amazon, is already using automation to derive the efficiencies from the economies of scale. So kay ba mo sa ng Amazon no? So ang Amazon kay nagamit na kuno na sila og mga automation para mapag-derive sa mga efficiencies gikan sa ila cost economies of scale. So similarly, by automating the supply chain and integrating the diverse, discrete, and disparate components of the value chain, synergies are possible as previously disconnected components of the supply chain can now be connected, leading to better coordination and collaboration in the supply chain. So the twin benefits of efficiencies from economies of scale and synergies from integration would result in substantial benefits to logistic providers. So, ang twin benefits kuno sa efficiencies gikan sa economies of scale kay ug sa synergies gikan sa integration kay makaresulta kuno na og mga dako nga benepisyo ngadto sa logistic provider. So how automation leads to lower carbon footprint and higher value addition. So what is lower carbon footprint? Okay, so lower carbon footprint, reducing carbon footprints is important because it mitigates the effects of global climate change, improves public health, boosts the global economy, and maintains biodiversity. So what about the higher value addition? Okay, so the higher value addition is the additional features or economic value that a company adds to its products and services before offering them to the customers. So in addition, it is often said of the logistics sector that has high carbon footprint due to its fuel-intensive modes of operation. And then automation can help the logistic providers in this respect as well through green modes of operation. So ang automation kuno kay makatabang kuno na sa mga logistic providers, naagi kuno sa green modes of operation. So what are the green modes of operation? So or what is it? What is this? Okay, so the green modes of operation is first, it creates positive impact on the environment. Second, it makes the company clearer that its competitors. So, third, operations that involve innovative products and processes that could substitute or eliminate the needs for pollutant processes. So, for instance, electric-powered robots and self-driving vehicles can be deployed, leading to zero fuel consumption. So, ang mga electric kuno nga mga robots or mga self-driving vehicles, which is ang mga high-tech ng mga saksanan nga mga aran ng mga cameras ka pwede makatrack sa mga objects nga ara sa isa palibot, can be deployed, leading to zero fuel consumption. Okay, so in addition, by automating the order booking and delivery components of the logistics value chain, firms can ensure that drones are used wherein there is no need for oil consumption. Okay, so sa pag-automate ko na sa mga bookings or mga pag-deliver sa mga components sa usa ka logistic chain or mga firms kay maka-ensure ko na nga ang drones ko no kay dili na kinahanglan og oil consumption. So moreover, automation can help reduce the burden on logistic workers by freeing them up to perform higher value adding activities such as process monitoring and tracking as well as route and operations optimization. Okay, so ang automation kuno kay makatabang kuno na pag-reduce sa mga sagabal sa logistic workers. Pinaagi kuno sa by freeing them up to perform higher value adding activities such as pag-process sa mga monitoring, sa pag-track sa mga ruta o sa mga operations nila. So indeed, in times when the labor policies of most logistic providers are being scrutinized for their people, policies, automation in the logistics sectors can ensure that such concerns are addressed. Okay, so sa mga time ko no nga labor policies of most logistic providers kay are being scrutinized. So kuan ko na sila sa pagpili sa mga policies kuno sa tao. So ang automation in the logistics sectors, so ang automation kuno sa logistics sectors can ensure kuno nga ang mga concerns kuno sa mga tao kay ma-addressed. So of course, this aspect is a double-edged sword as automation and logistics can also result in job losses. So and hence, one has to be circumspect about the impact of automation in the logistics sector. So ani ko nung aspect kay double-edged sword. So ang double-edged sword kay it is used to describe both small and large situation. Okay, so for example, buying a puppy may be considered a double-edged sword because kung ang pagpalit ko na og anang puppy kay makonsider ko na nga double-edged sword. Kay because your children will have a friend to play with but you will have an animal to take care of. Kaya ang imo ko ng mga anak kay ara anak ko noy friend nga makaupod nila sa pagduwa pero ikaw lat kay aralat kay ati manunong nga animal, ati manunong nga puppy. Okay, so the present state of automation in the logistics sector. So indeed, there is more hype than reality as far as automation in the logistics sector is concerned. So for instance, despite the widely predicted job losses and the doom and gloom scenario, the logistics sector is still labor intensive. So, despite ko na sa mga na-predict ng mga job losses o sa mga doom and gloom mga scenario, ang logistics sector ko na is still labor intensive. So, labor intensive, which means that it is the agriculture, the construction, the coal mining industries, just like that. Okay, so this is because the field of robotics has not reached a stage where robots can completely take over from humans. Moreover, self-driving vehicles that can replace drivers and long-distance truckers are yet to take off in a commercial sense. So tungod ko na ni sa ang field ko na sa robotics kay pa ko na naka-reach sa stage kung ngayon mga robots kay completely nga maka-take over naga sa mga tao. So ang self-driving vehicles kay it controls its movement without human intervention. Okay, so ang self-driving vehicles kuno kay pwede ra sila nga move or ma-operate bisan way mo kuan nga tao. So in addition, there are certain aspects of the logistic value chain that do not gain much from automation. So alat ko ni mga aspekto sa logistic value chain nga dili makagain pag maazo gikan sa automation. So for instance, we are yet to see the emergence of robot order booking and drone delivery except in isolated cities worldwide, and that too mostly in the United States and Europe. So makakita ra gyapon kita nga ang mga robot pinagi sa pag-order sa mga bookings or sa mga drone delivery. So wanay labot ang mga lagzo nga mga cities worldwide. So parehas ng United States and Europe. So having said that big data powered analytics is certainly helping the logistics sector, as can be seen from the increasing number of workers who are being employed for this task, whereas most of the lower value adding task has been automated. Okay, so big data analytics. Okay, so big data analytics often completes process of examining big data to uncover information such as hidden patterns, correlations, market trends of customer preferences that can help organization make informed business decisions. So to summarize, while automation in the logistics sector is increasing the efficiencies and synergies, there is still some time before the benefits kick in fully. Okay, some future predictions. So, amo ko na di ang iba sa mga na-predict sa mga futurists. So, such benefits can be in the future as can be seen from the predictions of futurists. So, as I have said earlier, so amo ko niya ang mga benefits sa future nga mga na-predict sa mga futurists. So, for instance, expert point on how logistic providers can automate the entire supply chain including ship loading and transshipment. So, ang mga expert ko no kay nagkuhan sa kung anon pagkuhan sa mga logistic providers o anong pag-automate sa tibok supply chain apil na ko dira ang ship loading and transshipment. Okay, so ang transshipment kay amo ni ang pag-transfer anay sa usa ka location before i-ship ngadto sa intended or final destination. So like for example, ako ari ko sa kamotes magpadako og package ngadto sa America. So di man amudot siya ngadto sa America, moagi pa man sa Cebu, sa Manila, moagi pa man dira. So that's what we call transshipment. Okay, so to explain the terms, loading the ships with the materials to be transported and moving them between ships at transshipment points is being automated to a large extent in global and world-class ports such as Singapore. So apart from this, using the emerging blockchain technology to automate the logistics handling can benefit the logistic firm to decrease defective item handling and move towards 100% success rate as far as avoiding loss and damage of the packages during transit are concerned. So, pinagi ko na sa paggamit og sa blockchain technology. So, okay, so what is blockchain technology? So, blockchain technology is the chain of blocks that contains information. So, ang blockchain technology contains ko na ni og mga damo information. Okay, so ang paggamit ko na sa blockchain technology kaya ang sa pag-operate sa logistics handling kan makabenefit ko na ni sa mga logistics firms para mapaubsan ang mga defective nga items sa pag-handle o ma-move towards 100% para 100% success rate as far as avoiding loss. So malikasan ang loss o ang mga damage sa mga packages during sa pag-transit. Okay, so moreover, countries such as China can immensely benefit from automated supply chains since it is the world's largest trading country and hence efficiencies and synergies can be a game changer. So ang mga nasod ko no pare sa China kay dako ko na maka-benefit ko na pagmaazo sa pag-automate sa mga supply chain since ang China is the world's largest trading country og hence efficiencies and synergies can be a game changer. So a game changer. So ang game changer na naman ni. So it is the procedure that affects a significant shift in the current manner of doing and thinking about something. So indeed, even India can benefit from automating its supply chains through the infrastructure is not yet in place to deliver such gains. A key point to note is that in many countries worldwide, the software of this automation is ready and it is only the hardware, the physical infrastructure that is lacking. So, bisan ko no sa India, kay maka-benefit ko na sila sa pag-automate sa mga supply chain. Pinagi ko no sa mga infrastructure. Ang mga infrastructure, kay wapa ko na ngadto sa pag-deliver sa ngadto sa usa ka lugar. Pero, ang point ko na sa ni, kay ang mga many countries worldwide kuno kay Ang software ko no sa automation kay ready na ko na siya, pero the only problem is ang hardware ko no, which is ang physical infrastructure ang kuwang. So for the conclusion of the particular topic, which is the K-block in supply chain management, so this has lessons for emerging economies as they integrate into the global trading system, as they need to first put in place the necessary physical infrastructure before automating the logistic value chain. So, kini ko no aray leksyon alang sa pag-uswag sa aton ekonomiya samtang sila nag-form og global trading system. Tungod kay kinahanglan og unahon pagbutang ang mga physical nga infrastruktura sa dili pa sila mag-automate sa logistic value chain. So moreover, they need to adopt a global approach wherein they bring global best practices and yet adapt them to local conditions so that the execution is according to the on-the-ground situation. So dugang pa niya na kinahanglan nila nga musagop sa usa ka global nga pamaagi kung diin nagda sila mga best practices and then i-adapt or i-apply sa mga local conditions para ang execution kay mag-base sa something important nga mahitabo. So indeed, the last mile connectivity is what drags the logistics sector from automating fully, and hence they must pay attention to this aspect. So to conclude, the future is indeed bright for the logistics sector to automate, and the gains from such automation are indeed immense. So sa tinuuray lamang ko no ang last mile connectivity, which is ang connectivity between the main backbone, so the network and the users, amo kuno na ang mga maggusod sa mga logistics sectors gikan sa pag-automate. So sa kinahanglan gyud sa tagaan ning pagtagad ani nga mga aspekto. So to conclude, ang kaugmaon is indeed ang kuani za ang kahayag para sa mga logistics sector para pag-automate og maka-gain og automation. So that will be all, guys. Thank you so much for listening for our discussions. Hope you learned something about it, and good day everyone.